Hi, this is Lady Lex UK, and this is my look at the Impy Awards. For those of you not in the know, the Impys were a award show that were made by Media Molecule for the game Dreams for PS4 and PS5. They put on an 1.5 to 2 hour show every year between 2019 and 2022. The Impys was a physical award. If you won one, it came to you in the post, a very heavy bookend type thing. And the people that won it either for games or artwork, animation or music, and also for individual achievement in Dreams or outside. At the same time this was going on, I ran my Lexi Awards. In fact, I announced my awards way before the Impys was announced, and mine were held a few months before the Impys every year. So I have a huge list of games for each year, so I know roughly what was available, and so I can decide from what I awarded and also the shortlist that I've got what I would have picked for each category. Now, the categories for my awards and for the Impys were slightly different. The Impys went with the Oscar model, so we had categories such as sound editing and art direction, while I went with game awards type categories. So I had awards for platformer or best horror game or best racing game. The eligibility rules for each of the awards was also slightly different. Media Molecule were restricted in what they could give awards to. Anything that was copyrighted they couldn't show, they couldn't give awards to. So that covered music and visuals and audio, and they can also not show anything that had promotion of tobacco products, alcohol, drugs. If it was ultra violent or had blood splatter, we had to sort of go for a PG, child-friendly vibe really with most of the things that were eligible for awards. So they were a little restricted. I did not allow any games that were made in collaboration with myself or with Media Molecule or made by Media Molecule. And I also would discount anything that was copyrighted in the first year, and then I introduced a category for fan stuff separate. So there's a lot of games that got awards from my ceremony that could not have been given anything by Media Molecule because of the copyright issue. Now, before we go any further with the video, I'm going to compare what I gave an award to and what I shortlisted with the Impy Awards, and I'm going to make a decision whether I would have gone with what they chose or picked something else. Now, that does not mean that I am saying the person who got the Impy did not deserve it. They absolutely deserved it. There was a lot of steps that needed to be taken before your game was even considered for an Impy. For a start off, you had to have a game that was popular enough and visible enough to the general Dreamer community to actually be nominated, either by Media Molecule or by the Dreamer community. You had to have a nomination that was then shortlisted by Media Molecule and didn't have any of the stuff that would make you ineligible. You would then pared down to the nominees, and then a jury would then decide who was the winner. So there's a lot of steps in order to win an Impy, especially for a game, and therefore if you got an Impy, congratulations, you definitely deserve it. You went through a lot of stages, a lot of people agreed that your game was good, and therefore enjoy that Impy on your shelf. I hope you've got it in pride of place. So when I make the decision whether I agree or disagree, it's just my own personal thoughts. If you've got another game, or if you disagree or agree with me, then please let me know in the comments. I love to hear your input into my videos. You can agree or disagree with me. I really don't mind, as long as there's some interaction. It's all good with me. So in this video, we're going to look at Dream of the Year, and we'll start with the ceremony that was made in 2020, which was for dreams released in 2019. So that was the year before the February 2020 release of Dreams to the general public. So these are the early access Impy winners. So the first ever Dream of the Year was given to Pig Detective 2 Adventures in Cowboy Town. This was a sequel to Pig Detective A Little Trouble in Little Cologne, and both of these were eligible for nominations in this year. In fact, the first game was nominated for Funniest Creation, but this game was nominated for Dream of the Year and won. And this game is a point and click adventure. The first one was film noir. The second one is a western, and you play as Pig Detective, who arrives in Cowboy Town to discover the sheriff has been murdered and there is lawlessness throughout. You've got to do various side quests and main tasks, and the game lasts over 90 minutes. The creative team behind Pig Detective is Sebastian Team PD and Lottie Double, who I believe are a married couple. But there is a lot more collaboration going on here. Lots of big name dreamers involved, such as Kelby Jones, Reddish Boat, Tap Giles, lots of people that you would recognise. But there's also the introduction of Media Molecule staff to this game. Abby Heppy, Tom Dent, John Beach are all involved in this game, and the voice of Pig Detective himself is Ed Hargrave. So we have a issue for my Lexi Awards with this game, because it wouldn't have been eligible because of the inclusion of Media Molecule staff within the team that made the game. Now, you might say, well, okay, they only did voiceover work, that's all. But the voiceover work is really quite a dominant and prominent part of this game. So under the rules of not allowing any Media Molecule creations or collabs, this game wasn't eligible for my awards, so it didn't crop up in any of my categories at all. So we're going to put that aside, and we're going to assume that everything is eligible. So let's move on to what I actually picked for the Lexi Awards, and that is Pip Gem Walker. This was made by Man, Chicken Turtle and Freakers. It's a platforming puzzle game, mainly for children, involving a sloth called Pip, who has to go through a puzzle block scene and find and dig out jewels, and once you've got the right amount of jewels, you can then go on to the next level. It's a really charming game, really great gameplay, easy to pick up, easy to play, very good for younger children to play, very family friendly. And so in those respects, I'm quite surprised it wasn't picked out for an Impy. It was nominated. So it did get a nomination for Dream of the Year, which I'm very pleased about, but I chose this as my winner. And one of the things that put it over the edge for me was the fact that the creators released a kit so that you could make your own Pip Gem Walker levels, or you could use the mechanism that they had designed here to make your own style of game with your own character. Or you could take Pip Gem Walker and put it in your own game that wasn't a puzzle platformer at all. You could put him in a murder mystery if you wanted. So I thought that was very generous, and it wasn't the usual thing. And going forward for the 5 years that Dreams have been around, it's not usual for creators to release their assets to the wider community. It's more common that people slap a do not steal this, I will kill you sort of message on their game. So this is really cool that they released it with a kit so people could make more levels for the game, and they did. There are some extra levels for Pip Gem Walker, so if you run out, there are some other levels that you can play. Right, so let's have a look. Would I have picked Pig Detective 2 Adventures in Cowboy Town if it had been eligible over Pip Gem Walker? And I think genuinely no. As much as I like Pig Detective, the Pip Gem Walker game for me is a really great example of the sort of thing that Dreams should have been about, and that was general cooperation with the wider community. It was child friendly, it was well planned, and it just looks very professional. It could stand alone outside of Dreams with no problems at all. So I'm going to pick Pip Gem Walker for my Dream of the Year for 2019. So now we move on to 2020. And this was the first year of the release of Dreams to the general public, and the amount of games being released into the Dreamiverse was astronomical in this year. So many games. I cannot claim to have played every single game that was ever released in this year. Even now I'm finding games that I'd never seen before, and nearly always it's a 2020 release. So with so much choice, what made the top for this year? And the winner of the Impy for Dream of the Year 2020 was Lock. This is an escape room puzzle game made by Pixel Gorilla, Joe Vork, Animation B, and Kelby Jones. Now, he pronounces it Kelby Jones. I don't know if he was joking about that. If you read it before as Kelby Jones, I don't blame you. I'll call him Keld from now on. That will solve the problem. So, this is a highly professional, extremely complex, and well planned out game. At the time that I did my Lexi Awards, I had played this but not completed it, and I didn't realise at the time how complex and how intricate the whole game had. I had no idea how long it took to plan this out. The clues are all there for you to work out. I've actually done a written walkthrough, and it's on my website. I'll put a link in the description if anybody's interested and wants to play Lock and have in the past maybe got stuck. So I've got a full walkthrough for anybody who wants to play it. If you enjoy games like The Witness or Room, this is a really great escape puzzle, and it's really difficult to talk about it without spoiling some of the clues and some of the puzzles in it, but or show clips for that matter. But it's one of the most professional games in Dreams and could easily stand alone, and I think people would pay to play this. It's that good. And it did win my puzzle category for the year, but it didn't win my Dream of the Year. My choice for 2020 was not a game at all. It was an animation, Rabbit and Boy by Cybersheep Film, featuring the talents of Hack Jazz, Be Simpler, Insane Artist, The Red Prophet, Sonic Sympathy, and The Joker 594. This is the team that went on to do Noguchi's Bell, which we'll talk about a bit later on. But this was one of the first long-form animated shorts that we'd seen in Dreams, something that I would later regard as an animated feature because it was over 10 minutes long. It was so professional. It looked like a professional animation that you might see in an animation festival. In fact, I believe they may have entered it. I'm not 100% sure. But it's so good. And you forget really that the limitations that you think you had in Dreams to make stuff. you forget that they even exist because there's so much going on. So tiny little details in this animation that just blow your mind on a technical basis. Never mind the fact the animation is so good, the sound design is so good, the music is so good, everything about it is amazing. And yet it had no nominations at all in any Impy category. It did not appear. It's not there as for best animation, never mind Dream of the Year. So I can only assume for whatever reason it was disqualified. Now, we already know that Media Molecule aren't concerned about professionals winning prizes because they gave it to Big Detective and the rest of the media staff involved. So it couldn't have been that. It could have been the violence and the blood splatter. And I do know that certainly in future Impys, they did approach people that they would like to have nominated and ask them to remove some of the things that would cause them to be disqualified. So they may have done that, and the team may have decided, no, we want our artistic vision to stand, and therefore made themselves ineligible. I don't know. I don't have the inside scoop on that. All I know is that Rabbit and Boy has no Impy nom, no Impy win, which is a travesty in itself. And I know that it was on their radar because it does have an MM pick. So for it not to be nominated at all means it must have been disqualified, which is a huge shame. So what is Rabbit and Boy? It's a story of a father and son. The son dies right at the beginning, and the father has a lonely life and is approached by a small boy out in the wilderness, and they fight off some bandits and things together and form a bond. It could have become a little bit more than just the short. I think it had potential for the characters to do more. They didn't make any more of this particular character. They developed Noguchi's Bell, but I would have liked to have seen more of this. The characters were so well done, and it was mostly a silent movie. Hardly any speaking in it at all, so it's suitable for different countries, different languages, and all the rest of it. So really excellent. So I got a difficult decision, and this was one of the difficult decisions that made me change my Lexi Awards, because up until this point I would just have my Dream of the Year just as the Impys did. This particular year caused me to change that, because I had on the one hand a fantastic game in Lock, and then I had a fantastic animation, both of which were standout, both of which were very important to Dreams in showing the capabilities of the platform. And it was a really difficult decision to decide. Now, I decided on Rabbit and Boy. The Impys decided on Lock. And going forward, I would have a category for Game of the Year and non-Game of the Year. So I wouldn't have this problem again. Because it's very difficult to compare an animation with a game. I mean, they're not comparable at all, really. So looking at it now, would I change my mind? I think I would. I think I would have gone with Lock. I think the issue was that I hadn't completed Lock by the time I did my Lexi Awards. I'd played it, but I hadn't finished it. And it's not until you get through a few hours of Lock that you realise how complex and intricate it is, and how brilliant it is. So I think I would have gone with Lock had I finished the game before I had to make my decision. Not to say Rabbit and Boy isn't fantastic, and I do recommend you check it out. But I'm going to change, and I'm going to go with the Impy this year and say yes, Lock is my Dream of the Year for 2020. So now we move on to 2021, and it's no longer Dream of the Year, it's Creation of the Year. And I have divided up my Lexi Awards into Game of the Year and Non-Game of the Year. So we have slightly different categories. The winner of the Impy for Creation of the Year was the Idyllium by Helicosi, Beavis 2 and Zeke. This was a contemporary art museum, a scenery of a museum that you could interact with, walk through, look at sculptures and paintings and installations. It was nominated in my Showcase and Interactive Dreams section but did not win it. And this got Impys for art direction and creation of the year, and was also nominated for sound. So it did really well in the Impys. There's a few galleries. It was compatible to VR, so you could look at it in VR. That might have been a good selling point for it. I don't have VR, so I don't know. Maybe it looks absolutely amazing in VR. I've never tried it. So for me, it was really nicely made, professionally made. Beavis 2, Helicosi and Zeke are very good artists, and they make really amazing set designs and artistic elements. But I don't know, it didn't thrill me so much. And if you look at the likes on that particular dream for Creation of the Year, 5,000 thumbs up is not a lot, especially for 2021. You would have expected it to get a lot more than that. So I think this was an interesting decision from Media Molecule to give this dream Creation of the Year. It's a complete departure from what they've done before, which was all game based. But let me have a look at my two choices. And for Game of the Year, I picked Slice, Man, Chicken, Turtle and Team. And for non-game, I picked Noguchi's Bell by Cybersheep Films. Now, the interesting thing is Slice has no Impy nominations whatsoever, which really surprises me. Now I don't know what the criteria is that would have disqualified it. It's possible that the people that made it chose not to accept the nomination. I think it's unlikely, but they might have. I can't think of any other reason. I mean, violence, drugs, none of that is in this game. So, yeah, I don't really understand it. And if you look at the numbers, Slice had 28,000 thumbs up. Compared that to the winner, I don't get it. It must have been nominated by quite a lot of people. I nominate it, definitely, for various categories. So I really don't understand why it wasn't eligible. I know Ed Hargrave did make some music for it, but as we've seen previously, they didn't disqualify people for using Media Molecule staff, so I don't know. I genuinely don't know why it doesn't have any Impy noms. And Noguchi's Bell, on the other hand, was nominated for Environment Art, Creation of the Year, and Excellence in Animation, but won none of them, which I think will surprise a lot of people who would have expected Noguchi's Bell to have got at least something. But no, nominated 3 times and got nothing. So let's have a look at Slice then. So Slice is a platformer, I guess. It's a little bit hard to define. You play as, well, a ninja, I suppose. We've got a sword and you have to slice open all of the masks that are on the screen in order to progress. And you jump around the screen, trying not to touch the sides. To touch the spikes and things like that are in the way, and you can dash and wall climb and all sorts of things. It's a really interesting game. It's got some great music, some great soundtrack to Slice. It's beautifully made, very professional. Another game that could easily stand alone as a little indie title. It's thoroughly deserving of lots of Impy noms for various different categories, not least of all Game of the Year. So I don't get it. It's a really great job. Another collaboration by lots of really great dreamers. So I don't get it. Not sure why that didn't get nominated. And if we look at Noguchi's Bell, well, what can I say about this? If you've not seen Noguchi's Bell, I recommend you give it a look. It's one of the best animation, if not the best animation in Dreams, made by the same team that made Rabbit and Boy. It's a story of a young samurai who meets a ramen seller in the desert of an abandoned planet. So it's sci-fi as well as samurai, and he learns how to fight so that he can avenge his father's death. It's really amazing, and there is sequels to it, and we'll come across those later. But yep, it nominated 3 times, got nothing, but it was my choice for non-game of the year. And now I've got the horrible decision of deciding whether or not which of my game or non-game to pick for creation of the year. What I am not picking is the Idyllium. It's nice and all, but it's not got a candle to Slice or Noguchi's Bell. It's absolutely horrendous. This is why I split my categories into game and non-game, because I didn't have to make this sort of decision, trying to decide whether to go with Slice or Noguchi's Bell. Which one would I'd probably play Slice again more often than I would play Noguchi's Bell again. There is some pacing issues in Noguchi's Bell in places. It is quite long. Slice is a really fun game, and it's one of those addictive ones where you just want to keep progressing. So I'm going to pick Slice, not least of all because it had no Impy nominations. I want to redress the balance. So yeah, I'm going to pick for my Dream of the Year Slice, Man Chicken Turtle and Team, for my Dream of the Year for 2021. So finally we're at 2022. This was the final Impys. It was held in 2023, and it wasn't long after this that they announced they would be doing no more community events and stopping development of Dreams. So this was the last Impys, and the winner of Creation of the Year was Trip's Voyage by Euphyllis, and also helped by Actual Jimmy Jam and Avox 23. This won multiple Impys. It won not just Creation of the Year, but also Excellence in Art Direction, Evolving Experience, Excellence in Gameplay, and was also nominated for Excellence in Audio Design. So it got a lot of Impys for this, and this game has been used as a calling card for the creator in order to get himself a job in the industry. So all of that hard work he put in, all those years of developing his skills in Dreams and not releasing very much else really, and working on this game and then releasing this, paid off big time for him, because he got himself a job doing what he loves. And there are lots of people in Dreams that had the advantage of doing work because of their work in Dreams. So Dreams has been great for a lot of people, and I hope everybody that joined Dreams early on and worked on it didn't feel that they'd wasted their time once the Dreams journey, if you like, was over, and nobody's going to be doing any more Impys or any more community events or game jams or anything for people to take part in. It's a shame. That is how it is. Anyway, Trip's Voyage, great game, platformer, open world with a sort of path to follow. You play as Trip. He's a cat in a sailor suit with an airship going from island to island, collecting bells and ducks and things. And it has elements of other platforming games such as Mario, but it is an original creation, and it's incredibly well done. It's very professional. You'd imagine this as an indie title with no trouble, and I think lots of people would happily pay to play this game. I don't know if he's developing this outside of Dreams or not, but we're very grateful that he managed to make it in Dreams, and it's a 3 to 4 hour game, so it's a substantial size. It deserved all of the Impies that it got, and I chose it as my Dream of the Year as well, my Game of the Year, as I divided mine up into two. So my Game of the Year is also Trip's Voyage. My choice for non-Game of the Year was Red Saikatsu's Let's Talk Dreams. Now, this is a animated TV show where he interviewed various people. So he interviewed Euphalace about Trip's Voyage, which was really good. And he talked about what's going on in Dreams, all the news, etc. And it didn't get enough attention, in my opinion. I gave it my non-Game of the Year award, and I think it definitely deserved a lot more attention from everybody. It got no nominations for any Impies of any description, which is a huge shame because a lot of work had been put in. The chat show format with Red, a character that's from Red Saikatsu's long-running adventure series, and it's really well done. It's polished, it's professional. The guests that came on and sat on the couch with their avatars, it was just wonderful. A really great showcase for dreams and dreamers, and what the capability of dreams for outsiders, even, because it was put on YouTube. But I don't think it got anywhere near the amount of attention it deserved. So I was very pleased to be able to give him an award, even though there's no physical award from me. The only physical award is the Impy that comes in the post, but there's no going to be any more Impies, so that's that, really. So now I've got to make the decision. Do I stick with the Impy, the Trip's Voyage, or do I go with Let's Talk Dreams by Red Saikatsu? It's not really that difficult a decision, to be honest. Trip's Voyage is the epitome of what can be achieved in dreams in terms of quality. So it's an easy decision, really. Trip's Voyage is my creation of the year for 2022. And you will notice it is the only one where I had an award and the Impy matched. Up until this point, I've always had different things available and not matching at all. So this is the first time we've had Trip's Voyage, an easy match, an easy decision to make. I'm quite glad, really, because it's been really difficult to make decisions on which ones to pick. And I'm expecting a load of you are now saying, right, so which is your GOAT? Which is your best game out of all of them? All of the Impies? Which is creation of the decade, or whatever you want to call it? And I'm not doing it because it's hard enough to pick a game or a creation, an animation, or some artwork or whatever. It's hard enough to do that within their own category and pick one. To take dissimilar things and go which one is better when you like both of them is so hard. I'm just not going to do it. But that's not going to stop you from doing it. If you want to tell me what you think is the GOAT, which is the best dream of all time, and it may be the one that is the most popular, the one that's got no Impies at all. Let's have a look at the chart, and we'll see Southpaw Cooking never nominated for an Impy, and that has got 245,000 people, so 250,000 people have thumbed this up, and it's been played by over 1.5 million times. It's been played by 500,000 people, so over 500,000 people. So it doesn't mean that if you don't get an Impy, it doesn't mean your game isn't great or isn't popular or anything. In some respects, the Impies were fluff. It's a nice thing to have. I mean, it's difficult for me to say that because I have two Impies. And people go, yeah, well, you've got Impies, you don't need to worry. I slugged my guts out making a game and I got no recognition whatsoever. And you can see that there are things in Dreams that are amazing and got no recognition whatsoever. So it's the luck situation in order to get an Impy is really strong. So please, if you are one of these people that created something or part of a team that created something that you thought needed recognition and didn't get any, don't think bad for yourself and don't feel angry for Media Molecules not giving you anything. It's a really difficult decision for anybody to make, to compare and contrast two things and that are so dissimilar and go, that's best, because it's almost an impossible decision. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like, subscribe, let me know in the comments that you liked it and you'd like to see more. If I get those sort of comments and this video does well, then I'll continue and I'll do other categories and see which ones I would have picked. It's going to be more difficult once I get past the categories that are the same as my Lexi Awards, and I've got to make a decision about sound editing and things like that. It's going to be difficult for me. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll give it a go and we'll see. So let me know in the comments, do I continue with this series? Do I do more Impy categories over the years and see what I would have chosen? If you're interested in that, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in your dreams.